Hello everybody and welcome to the Colour Cave. My name's Jem and I like to play with art stuff. I am absolutely petrified of what is about to happen. For today I bring you my March Scrawlr challenge and I have a dog. Hello dog, do you want to come and say hello to everyone? Say hi everybody, hi woo. I'm very much out my comfort zone this month. Excited as I was about the contents of the Scrawlrbox, I realised really quickly that a lack of a pencil, a normal graphite pencil, the lack of an eraser might put me in some sort of hot water. That's what these challenges are all about. I'm just going to try. I have an idea in my head, but I have no idea how it is going to turn out. This could possibly be the first point since I've started my YouTube channel where you see that I am not an artist. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. I always say I am a person that will try anything once, so I am going to try and you guys are going to come along for the ride. So wish me luck and let's get going. In the absence of a proper graphite pencil, which in essence is like cutting off my left arm, I plumped for the Koh-i-Noor pencil as a sort of poor replacement. It did absolutely nothing when I tested it out on black paper, so I figured it would actually be quite good for sketching out my loose guidelines to give me some sort of way of following round when I went to carry on with the picture without those lines being blatantly obvious once my image was finished. I did have to keep turning the pencil as I was doing this outline sketch because every now and then I would hit a section of blue pigment in the pencil and I couldn't see it at all. I mean, it's very, very faint on camera here. You can barely see the lines, so you can imagine that I wasn't much better off actually with the naked eye, but the blue sections were a bit of an issue, so I had to sort of keep twisting it round, which it was kind of awkward, to be honest. One of the things I found hardest about this stage was the fact that I couldn't use my normal guidelines or reference lines that I would do if I was working on white paper. Because I am an inexperienced artist, I do rely quite heavily on those reference lines, and it's something that I can rub out later on. So that was the main thing that really challenged me at this first stage. I am not a person that has had a lot of experience in drawing figures and, more to the point, profiles. Yeah, so really basically in at the deep end without any flippers or armbands or anything. That you can see though as you go through, as you watch, I do deliberate quite considerably, and I'm really pausing and trying my best to figure out if where I have scribbled down my little lines, whether I'm doing the right thing or not. And this is something that I think just comes with practice. But ideally, I wouldn't practice it on black paper with a multicoloured pencil. It's definitely not advisable. Never mind though, I soldiered on and I just kept at it and thought I just need to keep moving. So here's where things started to get really hairy scary for me. The areas where I would normally be using my beloved pencils or maybe even a little bit of white charcoal, I was doing this with a metallic brush pen. Let's get real for a minute here. The idea of creating this silhouette outline and where the highlights and the shadows would be, I had to really stop and think about what I was doing because I couldn't go back and rub anything out, and I also couldn't blend anything because I had no means to do it. So I was really paying attention to where I was putting in the highlights because that's what you do when you are working on black paper. And you can see me again, I'm pausing a lot, I'm really hesitant, and I'm trying to figure out where the light is going to hit the face if the light was shining down from the top right hand corner. And this is something that really does, it comes with practice and it comes with time. And certainly, just didn't really tick along for me the way I would have liked it to. But the other thing I was trying to pay attention to as well was the direction of my brush strokes. It is not the easiest thing to try and maintain consistency when you're doing things like an outline, unless, again, of course, you are an experienced brush artist, which I am not. So I had so many things going on. I was doing some severe multitasking here when I was doing this outline, and I was trying to be mindful of all these different things. And I think, in the grand scheme of things, I did an okay job. I was quite satisfied with my outline and how consistent my line thicknesses were, that kind of thing. After I was happy with that sort of initial stage, I moved on and started to put in a little bit of highlight in the areas that were most obvious. So the first place naturally for me would be down the nose, because that's the most protruding part of the face, and it made sense for me to start there. Having got the basics down of that nose shadow, which is so important to me, I started to work my way around the rest of the outline, and you can see how gingerly I'm going here, and I'm really thinking to myself, oh, I don't know if I want to start doing this or not, this could go horribly wrong. But ended up, I just took the plunge and started working on the next highlight, which was the eyelid. And the way that I decided to do this was by using really small and light strokes to try and get some sort of contour to show where that shape of the eye and where the light was hitting it. And I found quite quickly that if I did that, I could always go back over the brush strokes that I'd already made and intensify them, because one of my main worries as well during this step in the process was how I was going to give that variation in the highlight and the shade, again just because I was using a brush pen. Again, with pencil you can vary your pressure, but as I say, I found that if I went back over the brush strokes that I'd already made, then that was something that would slightly intensify the colour and give the illusion of it being lighter. So it didn't work 100%, but it definitely helped. This was my kind of regret about this challenge, and I wish that I perhaps hadn't done this. I did want to put some highlight in along the side of the eyelash line so that I could show the eyelashes and the fact that the eye was closed. However, I don't think that I had that down at all, and if I could go back, I would have skipped it altogether and just left the eyelid. You can tell that I wasn't happy about it because I moved away from it quite quickly and started working on the forehead, and here I'm trying to do the same thing as I've done with the eyelashes and get the highlight in where the light is bouncing off the forehead, because what that also does is it shows where the eyebrow would go. And I was much happier sort of swishing away up there than I was underneath the eye. I think that I probably could have started that highlight that I'm working on now slightly further over to the left, I think the highlight itself comes up too high and the light wouldn't necessarily hit there because of the bridge of the nose, and I think that was my main mistake with that part. I think by this point as well I'd probably figured that out and gone, ah well, it's too late now. This was definitely my favourite part of using the brush pen. Hair is always great fun, and I decided because I'd had to be quite sort of disciplined with my outline and things because I was really concentrating, I decided just to go and have a little party to myself and you know, get a little bit wayward with it. It was incredibly good fun though, and it made doing the picture more fun for me as well. I felt like the picture was starting to take shape at this point, and I was still trying to work away on those highlighted areas, just really to reinforce them a little bit and try and get the picture where I wanted it to be. I did feel like I was still really struggling at this stage. Much as it looks like a face and you can tell it's a face, I just wasn't entirely satisfied with my handiwork basically. At this stage I moved on to the bottle at the top, which was the entire point of the prompt. It is indeed a magic potion bottle. And you can see that I am starting to think again for about the millionth time about where the light is going to hit the bottle and where I should have my highlights and that sort of idea. So I just started sort of working away there, flicking round. I did leave myself that guidance line. You can see the straight line for the neck. I have used that as a guideline. That wasn't really intentionally going to be a solid line, but I needed something to work from, and again it was really because the pencil lines underneath were so faint and I didn't want to lose my way while I was going about it. I've just nipped back in with my pencil here to mark out some droplets, which again really just for a guideline more than anything else, and to make sure it didn't end up a bit wonky. I was actually quite pleased with how the pencil performed on the paper for what I needed it for. Here you can see I've gone in with the mysterious glittery gel pen type pens, and I am marking the outlines of my droplets. It wasn't immediately apparent because the glitter only shows through as the pen starts to dry, so you can see it starting to show up now on the paper. So I've started working away on the potion bottle here. Now, unfortunately, my camera cut out shortly after this. All that I did in this section was fill in the liquid and the droplets, which you'll be able to see in the finished picture just shortly. This was a fun part too. I quite enjoyed it, going in and filling in round all the different parts and watching the glitter come up through the paper. I'm convinced that losing the last part of the video was my own fault. This was filmed on Friday the 13th, and really I should have known better, shouldn't I? But never mind. You can see in the top right there my finished bottle with my 2 gel pens and the drops of potion coming out and dripping down. I decided to call it finished at that point. I felt if I went back and added more with my brush pen, I would just be making things worse. So here is the finished article for the Scrawlr challenge. If you like this video, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would just like to say thanks for joining me and watching through, and another video will be up soon. Bye guys.